You know, every time you have a party, one of the things you wonder about is, will people show up? So as I try to see past these bright lights, I'm quite thrilled that people are here. A lot of work goes into it, and I want to take some time in a few moments to talk about all the people that helped make this event happen. But the fact that you guys are here with us for 3 days is something that's just very thrilling to us at Appalachian State, and that the fact that the event has grown in size from year to two is something, year 1 to 2 is something a lot of people have said is extraordinary. So something that we're very proud of and happy that you're here. One of the first things I want to say is this is a participatory event. We're going to spend many hours in networking sessions. We're going to spend lots of time in solution sessions, working group sessions. If you come to this session to listen, you're going to miss 80% of the value. You know, one of my favorite quotes is from Marshall McLuhan. You know, there are no passengers at the Energy Summit. We're all crew. So we welcome you here, but please, this is something that if we're going to reach the lofty goals that Terry has talked about, if we're going to save the state $1 billion, if we're going to instill in our students to be the leaders of the tomorrow and to create the future that we want, if we're going to transition the energy economy and create the jobs that I know are possible, it's going to take all of the ideas that are in this room. And so, again, we in all of our breakout sessions, we reserve at least half, if not more, of the time for input. And we try to create as much space as possible for collaboration. I want to remind everyone that last year, every chancellor in the UNC system and many of our private school presidents and chancellors signed the commitment to the Appalachian Energy Summit. So, as I like to say, in some regards, this is not optional. You know, that we pursue these goals, this is a direction that has been set for us. And I had the privilege this morning, or this afternoon, of being in a leadership luncheon. And as you've already heard a couple times, the commitment and the conviction from the top, from President Thomas Ross around these issues is unwavering. And I'm familiar with this history from back in his days at Davidson. This is an issue that he's very passionate about. And so all of us need to feel very empowered. We need to feel very safe. I mean, this is something that we are strongly being asked to do. And if you work for the UNC system, our boss's boss's boss has said, let's make these goals happen. So, again, this is something that I like to say is not optional. As Amy has already pointed out, we do not have any paper for you this week. So this is the website. You'll find over 200 campus success stories out there. In the bottom right button here, university data. We have, from the State Energy Office, very detailed data from each campus. And it's something that really hasn't been shared before until the Energy Summit on a state level. Kind of everybody sharing their data with one another. We have a chance for you to go out and get to know our speakers. All of the speaker bios are out there. And I'm really excited to talk about here in a moment all the great speakers that we have lined up for you. We have descriptions of all the breakout groups. I'll talk about those more in a moment. Things to do. You know, we've highlighted local restaurants, local activities, so we hope that you'll take this opportunity in our country, maybe Friday, as we let you go in the afternoon, you'll choose to stick around, and we hope that we've given you a good list of things to do. And then important documents, everything from the agenda to the breakout groups, the notes pages, truly everything we think you need. And so this is our way of really not putting paper in your hands. I do want to take a moment to do a series of thank yous, and I hope you'll offer me this moment of privilege. First is I want to thank our sponsors. I don't think I've ever been to a conference where everything was free, including the lodging. I don't think I've ever gone somewhere and they said, we're going to put you up, we're going to feed you, the conference is free, and this is not possible without our sponsors. And so to kind of honor their commitment to us, I want you to take a good look at this page, and if you go onto our website, you're able to find information that they put together specifically for people at the Energy Summit. And go out and click on those materials and see what it is they'd like for you to understand. And I think that's a very nice way that we can pay back our generous sponsors. And again, an event that's free of charge in an economic time like this is really what makes this possible. And if I could see better, I'd point you out and thank you. But I would say that Pepco Energy and General Electric both have been with us for both years from the start, and we appreciate your continued support. I also want to kind of recognize a series of people, and I didn't want to forget anyone, so I wrote it down. First, Amy Sanders, who you've already met. She is so humble, but Amy Sanders, Marcia Eller, and Ryan Morton, who's backstage kind of running the show. What I'd like to do is as we recognize people, I just want you to stand up and remain standing. But, Amy, Marcia, and Ryan, we have been firing details at them at the rate of like 50 a day for weeks. And the analogy came to my mind, like you've seen like the tennis ball machine where you shoot tennis balls and you hit them back. The only difference is, we've been shooting tennis balls, but these guys, they don't hit them back, they eat them. It's so comforting to know that you can say, hey, we need these 10 things done, and you can move on. And so, Amy, Marcia, and Ryan, tremendous gratitude. Camps and conferences services. There's a lot of details, and we have, sometimes thousands of students on this campus, for camps. We have a big wrestling camp, I think, going on this week. And last week was a music camp, and so they're taking care of a lot of folks just beyond us. The other group I want to recognize, and if you would stand, we have something on our campus called the Energy Summit Leadership Team. And this team on our campus includes 3 members of our Chancellor's Cabinet. And so I want to kind of give the flavor that this is something that is very important to us at the highest level. So our Vice Chancellor of Advancement, our Vice Chancellor of Business Affairs, and our Provost have been in all of these meetings as we've been planning it all along. We have a cross-campus programming team, and there's, I think, about 15 people from all across the UNC system who've been with us, most of them for 18 months, as we continue to plan this event. So this is not an event where Appalachian State or any one group is trying to kind of set a direction. We reached out to most every campus in the system, and we have these regular meetings, some of them face-to-face, to try and put together the best program that we can. I want to mention again our generous sponsors, our university communications, all of our speakers, the panel members. Who here is speaking on a panel or is a teacher in one of our breakout sessions? Raise your hand. There should be about 45 of you. And the point is this is a participatory event, and so what we imagine is about roughly 1 out of every 5 people in the audience is also kind of a faculty member or a teacher in one way or another. I want to mention Rocky Mountain Institute, Amory and Marty are tremendous help, but also tomorrow we'll be with, I think, 5 of their consultants who will be leading our breakout groups. I want to thank NC State University, who hosted our mid-year meeting. I want to thank North Carolina A&T in advance, and you'll hear more about their participation with next year's meeting. I want to thank the contingent from Salisbury, North Carolina, the Stanback family and the Smith family. These have been inspirations to us from the beginning. So you're going to meet some of our friends, Keenan and Hay Smith, Fred and Alice Stanback, and others from Salisbury. And it's just been this tremendous influence to us in the Energy Summit, and we thank you. And then lastly, I want to thank President Ross and Chancellor Peacock. So again, without their leadership, we wouldn't have the space to be creating an event like this and an initiative like this. And really, in my opinion, for many of us, myself included, kind of a career opportunity of a lifetime. So for me, it's something I'm very grateful for. I'm thankful that we've done a lot to make this a green event. We've talked about zero waste. This can only be a zero waste event if you participate. We're going to hand you very few things that you can throw away, but we want you to be aware of what's in your hand. This is a carbon neutral event. We did our best to make it as light on carbon as we could, but we did actually purchase renewable energy credits, and we purchased carbon offsets. We worked with a company called Shift Equity, a new company in North Carolina, and we worked with NC Green Power. The Student Union, where we'll be spending much of our time in the next 2 days, is probably one of the most efficient buildings on campus. And Dave Robertson, I know you out there, but Dave for 10 years has been a leader on our campus in sustainability. So when you're in that building, take the time to notice the water fixtures or the lighting, and I'm sure you're going to find that they're up to par because Dave wouldn't have it any other way. So in previewing the Energy Summit, I have something that I want you to see. So Ryan, if you would.
Neighbor, welcome again to this neighborhood. I'd like to show you something. You know what this is? Well, maybe if I press this button. This is a cassette player with a little cassette in here, and there's nothing written on it, so we'll just have to play it to see what it is. Do you ever imagine things? Are they scary things? Are they scary things? Do you ever imagine things? Things you'd like to have? Did you ever see a cat's eyes in the dark and wonder what they were? Did you ever pretend about things like that before? Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow. Imagine every person that you see is somewhat different from every other person in the world. Some can do some things, some can do others. Did you ever think of the many things you learned to do? Many things you did. Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow. Did you feel like going like that? Let's give the fish some food. It's too big, I can order any which ones. That's what they call these like. There are so many things to learn about in this world, and so many people who can help us learn. So many people who can help us learn. Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow.
It's one of my favorite things, so I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. But I hope that theme of like, we can grow the ideas. We are being asked to create these ideas. These ideas aren't like ready for us to go implement. We need to have the ideas and then go implement them. And I have lots of confidence in this group. So I want to just go through the Energy Summit. I want to talk about the speakers and things that have happened. And today we did something called a leadership luncheon session. And we invited all the chancellors, provosts, and CFOs, kind of a one-day summit. Last year we hoped that I might come for 3 days to just not possible to get this group of people to take 3 days off. And so we're trying to compress the summit for them into one day. And so Amory Lovins and Anthony Cortese and others, Marty Pickett facilitated the session. We had a great leadership luncheon this afternoon, and I look forward to compiling the notes and kind of putting those back out to this group. But the level of commitment that I heard from top to bottom in that room, again, from not only the top down, but the bottom up, was very inspiring. And so this was kind of the kickoff event of the Energy Summit. Ryan and I had some new technology that we worked on. We actually have some live footage from the meeting this afternoon, so I wanted to share that with you now. This was the scene from the leadership luncheon. As you can see, a lot of good stuff happened. So tonight, keynote address. When we leave here, as Amy said, we're going to take you across campus. We're going to have a nice networking reception. But this evening, we have an opportunity for you guys to really have a great kind of visionary experience into the Appalachian Energy Summit. We'll be hearing from Amory Lovins and President Tom Ross. And the idea is how do we imagine the university in its energy future, and then how do we execute? And so it's not only how do you reconcile vision with current opportunity. And so I'm just really pleased tonight to offer the opportunity to hear from these two fine individuals. And again, Amory, we're so proud that you're with us. We have 3 different featured speakers. I don't know if you've been watching our agenda leading up to today, but first speaking tomorrow morning will be Anthony Cortese. Anthony is a senior fellow with Second Nature, and if your campus has signed the President's Climate Commitment, then you are a product of his work. He has been working for environmental issues and one of the founding persons, you might say, in the sustainability movement in higher education, and has just tremendous perspective and depth of information to share, particularly on how you integrate these things into the learning side. And very pleased and hope you'll enjoy hearing from Anthony tomorrow. On Friday, we'll hear from Roger Natsuhara, and he is the Acting Assistant Secretary of the Navy. This is a gentleman who was responsible for installations, energy, and environment for the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Navy. So tremendous wealth of experience. Our federal government and the military have made tremendous commitments into efficiency and renewable energy. So I think we have a lot to learn from that when things, the military, when you get an edict or a directive, you go. And so to kind of hear when bold vision meets execution, I think we're going to have a lot of great stuff to learn from Mr. Natsuhara on Friday. And then shortly after I'm done today, we're going to be hearing from Mr. Joseph Cathanti, who is North Carolina's Poet Laureate. And I think will leave us with a very good tone as we head off into the evening. And I'll be introducing Joseph here shortly. We have 2 great panel discussions. First one is something new this year. We're going to hear from our students. And the 6 students that you see listed there are 6 of 50 we could have picked. We reached out to sustainability directors across campuses and said, tell us about the leaders on your campus, the student leaders. And the stories that you're going to hear, the leadership positions that these students have taken is really nothing short of remarkable. And that session will be facilitated by Allison Sims, who works in our office. And Allison has done a tremendous job of organizing all of the student activities. I think we have 60 students registered for this event. So what a great energy and what a great reminder that that's kind of the business we're all in, is educating the students. And what I've learned recently and what I hope we'll learn tomorrow is we have quite a bit to learn from them and their passion. And then on Friday, as we did last year, we're going to have an industry panel. What's really interesting about this panel, and it was not the intention, but all of these companies are working together on our performance contract. We have a $16 million performance contract on this campus, and coincidentally, these companies all happen to be working together A lot of them have a big North Carolina presence. So to hear from these companies that compete with one another, but also cooperate with one another, and all have tremendous product, services, and knowledge to lend to us in this effort. So I'm looking forward to hearing from both of these panels, as I hope you are. Something else that's new this year, Dr. Jeff Ramsdale and Provost Lori Gonzalez envision that the Energy Summit will also have this educational and research component to it. I heard President Ross said something today. He said, we as institutions are creating the engineers and the technicians who are out there doing all of these work with the energy savings performance contracts. And so how do we take the ideas that our faculty have, how do we take the ingenuity that our students have, and how do we put that forward and demonstrate it to you, and possibly even get to a place where there's maybe even a journal that collectively we contribute to, and we're pushing the science of this, and we're pushing not only the technical science, but the social science. Like, how do you get adoption in these areas? And so our first foray into that this year is a student poster competition. Tomorrow at lunch, I urge you to take the time, visit the poster session, come see these students who have worked hard to put these really amazing presentations together, and help us kind of judge these things. I mean, there's a formal judging process, but before it's all over, somebody's going to win an iPad or two. So we're just really appreciative of our students, and we're hoping that as you witness this year, that you'll go back and help us have, I think we have about a dozen posters this year, and we hope that next year that number will quadruple. And there's really no reason that it shouldn't. As Terry already pointed out, we have working group sessions tomorrow. And each of these 6 working groups is anchored by an existing peer group. So roughly a third of you are predefined into one of these groups. We want everyone else to self-select. Where do you want to be? Where's your interest? Where's your passion? What's your job? What can you contribute? What do you want to take away? But these are meaty sessions. These are 2 hours and 45 minutes long. They're fairly structured. They're facilitated by Rocky Mountain Institute. And each group has at least 2 faculty members, I'll call them faculty members, from the UNC system who are there to lend their expertise. And then we also have mostly students who volunteer to be note takers. So we should come out of these working group sessions with a lot of great information that's reusable. And we'll take this momentum into the mid-year meeting, which you'll hear more about coming up this winter in Greensboro. And then on Friday, we have another type of breakout session. And this is what we heard at the mid-year meeting. These are 9 topics that you want to know more about. And I think equally importantly, these are 9 topics that some of you already know a lot about. So we've got, I think, about 24 faculty, I'll call them. Faculty, students, business partners, and staff members who are going to be teaching these 9 solutions-based sessions. And I have done training sessions with people in all 15 of these breakout groups. And they are out-and-out experts in each and every session. So I hope you will take good advantage of that. And again, we're leaving at least half of that space to hear from you. So this is not us talking at you. This is us working with you. Network. Get to know each other. Make good use of your name badge. Meet your neighbor. John Pierce, the CFO with UNC Asheville, he and I met at this event last year and had a wonderful collaboration this year around creating finance mechanisms for renewable energy systems. And something we hope to leverage across the entire system. And I'm guessing there's probably dozens of stories like that in this audience, but get to know your peers. There's tremendous networking opportunities. So please, tonight, tomorrow at breakfast, tomorrow at lunch, tomorrow night, we've provided ample time, and we hope that you'll come away from this with a lot of new friendships. Lastly, have fun. Have fun. Dream big. Create the ideas that will transform the energy future of higher education in North Carolina. Thank you for coming. distinct pleasure and honor to introduce Joseph Batanti. Joseph is a professor of creative writing and the writer-in-residence at the Watauga Global Community at Appalachian State University. He also teaches at Carlow University, which is in Pittsburgh, in a low-residency Master of Fine Arts program in creative writing. Perhaps most notably, Joseph has been installed this year as North Carolina's Poet Laureate, and this is a 2-year appointment. I've had the pleasure of working with Joseph recently on a couple committees, one where we're trying to think about how do you put language around a university's vision, how do you put language around mission, and his gift of language is astounding, and he brings so much richness and depth, and these meetings that I get to go to have, quite frankly, restored my faith in meetings. But thank you, Joseph. I have a bit of a biography I want to go through, though, but he is the author of 7 books of poetry. Books like Communion Partners, Anson County, The Feast of All Saints, This Metal, Land of Amnesia, and Restoring Sacred Art. Many of these books have won honors. A new collection of poems, Concertina, is forthcoming from Mercer University Press this October. His novel, East Liberty, won the 2001 Carolina Novel Award. His latest novel, Coventry, won the 2006 Novello Literary Award. His book of stories, The High Heart, won the 2006 Spokane Prize. His collection of personal essays, Half of What I Say is Meaningless, was the winner of the 2012 Will D. Campbell Award for Creative Nonfiction, and again is forthcoming from Mercer University Press. And I'll spare Joseph the embarrassment, but in my research I found at least 10 more awards that I can list out. Again, a very fine citizen and a great addition to the Appalachian community and family. And without further ado, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you Joseph Batanti.